So, kind of a couple of changes to what I was initially going to do, but we are going to talk about body paragraphs today. I would be taking notes. The beauty of having the video is being able to go back, rewind, and so on and so forth. Really focusing on this idea of credibility and validity. And we'll talk about how to transfer your graphic organizer, excuse me, to your body paragraphs tomorrow. So, kind of for thesis statements, a change in plan, I want to give you guys feedback. I've already started that process, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. Today, if you finish early, you may work on your presentations. There's a lot to work on, trying to get you guys in good shape. So that way, this weekend, it's strictly filming and working on one body paragraph for the IRR. All right, so your body paragraph for the IRR, we keep it very, 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 very formulaic. This will drive some of you guys nuts, but it's going to end up really helping you. So the first thing you'll have is you're going to have your topic sentence. If it is transitioning from the previous paragraph, you'll have some sort of transition. But your topic sentence should very descriptively somehow allude to both the lens and the perspective. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. I'll show you guys a couple samples today just to kind of help you out. They all come from what I gave you guys, the packet I gave you guys yesterday, so you can always mark it up when I'm talking about it. Then you're going to introduce your first point. You're going to tell about the point that you plan on discussing first. So whatever your evidence is about, with not contextualizing, just the point that is made. So are they making a point about fish in the lens of social, and your whole perspective is about the sea. So remember, it's a subtopic. Then you're going to introduce that first piece of evidence. So you are going to contextualize your piece of evidence using our tool, and then you're going to actually put our tool in there. So the first thing you're going to do is summarize in your comments. So you're going to do that, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Then you're going to have then you'll put your piece of evidence. So contextualize, first piece of evidence, and then in your commentary, it's 3 very, very, very simple ways to do this. You're going to summarize the evidence. You are going to use an evidence tag to evaluate. And then you're going to analyze the evidence for credibility and relevance. So again, you're going to summarize, evaluate, and then you're going to analyze for credibility and relevance. Then you're going to introduce that second piece of evidence. You're going to go ahead and contextualize. Then you're going to do the same thing. Summarize and evaluate. In this evaluation, make a mark is your opportunity to compare the two pieces of evidence in some way. So that means you will, just like I showed you guys yesterday with that example, you will somehow do a point of comparison between them. And I'm going to show you an example in a second. And then you're going to do your clincher sentence. We will go into more detail about this tomorrow, but I at least wanted you to get your feet wet today. I know with me not being there, it's a lot harder, which is why I'm not asking you to start writing yet. All right, so our lovely evidence tags. You will use these after you summarize your piece of evidence. This is really, really important. So the research is effective because the research creates, the research ties together. While the author's point is weak, and I apologize, weak is spelled wrong. My bad. I just realized that as I'm watching this, I'm cringing in AP Seminar teacher land. The evidence supports the claim because the evidence reveals the political, ethical, or whatever lens you have dilemma, while also the statement by a source gives background necessary to understand blank. The evidence asserts, the research can be compared to, this evidence confirms, the research argues to. And to me, these particular ones are what you can use to summarize your evidence. It can be suggested by the evidence that clearly the research emphasizes. Consequently, the piece of evidence underscores. The research merely explains blank. While the claim has much support, the research rejects that. So any of these can work, and we'll talk more in detail about where to put them tomorrow. So there's a point that you should be evaluating. It's the second bullet point after your first summary where you'll put your evidence tag. I would use these. While the evidence stinks blank, however, you could talk about, however, it's not credible, it's not valid, it's not relevant. The evidence strengthens the overall argument of blank because the evidence hurts the logic of the argument because. So it's going to be so you could use this for your evaluation piece. So, I'm going to hold off on going over these with you guys until tomorrow. So I would expect when I come in tomorrow, you will have notes on kind of briefly what I just talked about. The rest of the period should be dedicated to working on your presentations for the IWA. All right, if you have any questions, shoot me a Schoology message. Very straightforward today. I will see you guys tomorrow.